Yeah. So, Abhishek, first of all, thanks a lot for your time today. Uh, and of course, I know you, but for everyone else in this group, can we please start with you introducing yourself?
Sure, sure. No, thanks for having me, and thank you all for joining on a Sunday night, guys. I'll just quickly I'll try to keep it as short as possible because at the end it's a Sunday night. So yeah, I mean, I'm basically from Rajasthan, born and brought up. I mean, brought up mostly in Mumbai, and then I did my engineering from Pune. Back in 2018, I passed out of this college called College of Engineering Pune in 2018. Post that, I joined GS as an associate in their Pune office, wherein I was primarily working with US-based pharma clients. Like all the clients that you can think of, the top 10 pharma companies were clients at that point of time, and then post ZS, I moved on to another consulting startup called ProgDNA, wherein I was doing multiple things. So at ZS, it was primarily about leading and delivering on client engagements. But at ProgDNA, my role expanded to not only just delivering on client engagements, but also leading firm initiatives, getting new business for the firm, and driving some product development as well. And yeah, I left ProgDNA back in 2023 to pursue my MBA. I joined ISB in 2023, graduated this year. Currently, I am working as a commercial strategy and business development manager at a US-based biotech startup called Ocugen, wherein they are now currently expanding their India office. So I am helping them launch their drug on a commercial scale at a global level, basically all the key markets, which is US, Japan, Europe, etc. So yeah, I mean, that is about it. Happy to deep dive. I mean, I'm sure we'll deep dive on a couple of things there,
So
but yeah,
was it
happy to.
a campus job, Abhishek?
No, it wasn't. So I applied it through off campus. I had some other offers from on campus that I didn't join eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Abhishek, one of the reasons that I invited you is one of the major reasons is that you are a reapplicant,
Yeah.
right? And the most important thing, you did not change anything in your profile when you applied. You applied with the same GMAT score?
Right.
Yes, I remember.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
You applied with the same GMAT score. You also did not change your job while you reapplied. You were in the same job, right?
Correct. Yes.
Also, you reapplied immediately. You were
Yeah.
rejected in one
Yes.
round and then
Yeah.
immediately you reapplied.
Yep.
So, there are a lot of myths about reapplicants. And more than myth, people are very, very demotivated when they get rejected from ISB. And then
Mm-hmm.
they just break their head.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, people break their head to increase their GMAT or GRE. I mean, of course, if it is needed to increase, you should increase it.
Yeah.
Or they just try to do random things with respect to their profile. So that's why I wanted to kind of talk to you and invite other people uh, to understand more about the ISB process and all. So before we proceed, can you describe how was your first application process and what did you think were the reasons of you finally not able to get a seat?
Right. So I think from an application perspective, my first application was decent, but I think where I got, maybe I got dinged because of, my lack of preparation for the interview stage, wherein I got called for the interview stage and then I wasn't prepared or I hadn't weaved a foolproof story around my profile as to why did I make certain kind of choices in during my first application or my first attempt at ISB. So one key thing that in hindsight, I think is my lack of preparation for the interview part.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it different in the next time? Means, do you think there was any major difference between the style of interviewing in your first attempt and your second attempt by the panelists?
No, I don't think. It was all similar questions, not same, but similar questions. Um, yeah, so essentially the interviewers want to know about, genuinely want to know about the candidate a lot more deeper, and about the kind of work that one has done previously. So that why MBA, why ISB part of it, you need to have a very convincing answer, a very convincing story in place that you are currently at a certain point A in your career trajectory, you want to reach at point B, and then ISB is that bridge between point A and point B. This part was what I was lacking in my first attempt, and then eventually, with after our connect, we were able to figure that story out. But yeah, I think that was the interview part is one
So
thing.
I am just opening our chat on WhatsApp, Abhishek. 15th
Mm-hmm.
October 2022 was your interview. And
Mm-hmm.
you just messaged me, "Hi Anshul, done with my interview. It was okay-ish. Not 100% confident that I was able to convince the panel on some things. However, the questions were 90% same as to what you had asked in the mocks. Now, why did you think that you were not able to convince the panel? What was this cause of friction, if you remember? I
Yeah,
understand
I
it's
do,
more
I
than
do,
two
I
years
do.
ago.
Yep. No, I do. So the thing was, the questions were, it was nothing out of the box, but one particular question at the end, wherein the panel, so there were two guys, the senior alum and one of them was the junior alum, and the senior alum asked me, Abhishek, think about whether you want to spend 40 lakhs at this point in your career. Are you sure about that? There I felt, maybe I was not able to convince them about why MBA at this point in my career and then why ISB, and maybe they are not convinced with my answers, and that's why, hence, this question came at the end. So that's why I thought, yeah.
Okay. Now, before I open it to questioning from everyone who's present, do you have some very hardcore tips for the applicants for writing the application as well as people who are, preparing for the interview?
Sure. First of all, I would start by saying that ISB is a very reapplicant friendly school. One, that I can, say with 100% surety. And then secondly, I mean, I would say ISB places a lot of emphasis on, how you would contribute to the overall batch or the overall cohort's learnings, or what value do you bring on the table, basically. So just be clear with that, and, portray that clearly in your essays while giving your interviews as well. What is it that you're bringing to the batch? So yeah, these two things. Rest all, I think it's all WorkX related. So everyone would have their own story around the WorkX part.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Abhishek.
Yeah.
My last question is, how was life in general in last 1 year? I mean, 1 year at ISB.
Oh, awesome. Firstly, I would have liked if, so 12 months is a very, small window. It passes by in the blink of the eye, and I would have liked it if it would have been a much more longer program, but fantastic experience in terms of many things, not only academics, but in terms of the friends that you make, the people that you interact with. A great bunch of folks that I met, learned a lot, enjoyed a lot. So the mantra at ISB was, maybe work or study hard, but party harder. So yeah, enjoyed a lot during that 1 year.
Okay. Now, I will open uh, the session for the questions from the people who are present. Most of them, not most of them, but some of them are R2 applicants. Round two deadline is exactly 7 days away. And then they will start preparing for interviews. So, guys, if you have any more queries, uh, you can ask Abhishek. Otherwise, again, I'll take it back and I'll ask some more questions from him. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Hello.
Hey, Dhanush.
Hi,
Hi,
Dhanush.
Abhishek. Uh, Hi, Anshul. Thank you for this call. Hi, thank you for your time, Abhishek. My question was regarding the reapplicant essay. How do you suggest we go about the essay, and what are the main points that you suggest, considering the fact that we have only about 6 to 7 months to show some improvement or growth in our profile?
Yes.
Correct. I mean, so one is for sure that, I mean, is there any change in your kind of project or the kind of role has that evolved where you are currently working? Or have you had a chance to make some kind of impact, a quantifiable impact, if you can show that it is helpful? So in my case, I can, if I can give an example, in my case, the only change in my profile during that 1 year was that I got to work on the first or building the first ever product for this startup that I was working for. And I think this is what I mentioned in my reapplicant essay, that I mean, it was a work in progress thing, nothing impactful to show, but at least that is something that got changed in my profile. So any tangible change wherein you can maybe weave a story or potential show the adcom or the interviewers a potential impact down the line is something that I would suggest.
Oh, got it, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Abhishek, how much preparation is needed for the interview stage? Because as you said, interview was where you kind of you think that there
Yeah.
was a major difference between your preparation and first attempt and second attempt. So once, let's just say, people submit, what exactly they should start doing after they submit?
Yeah. So I mean, one, they should not slack off in the sense like if the application is submitted, let's just wait and watch to see if we get the interview invite and then we'll start, because ISB just gives you a week or so intimation in advance. So I think you just start noting down points around. So there are multiple things that one can start looking at, starting by the if you are associated with a kind of industry. So just start reading about the industry in general or the key trends, which may be a point of discussion during your interview. Then, start highlighting some of your key projects that you have worked on. So one of the questions during my interview was, tell us about one of your most interesting projects that you have worked on in the past 2, 3 years. So maybe, just noting down those things wherever I mean, be it work or any significant achievement, maybe, or as simple as maybe your strengths and weaknesses, because these things I think take time to introspect and then come up with at least 2, 3 top of your mind strengths or weaknesses. So I think, yeah, just start with it and don't slack off after your application, and I think you'll be good, but nothing major. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you were a consultant, Abhishek,
Yeah.
and I think you had mentioned consulting, if I remember correctly, consulting also as your post MBA goal. So,
Yeah.
again, there's a very common question that if we write consulting as post MBA goal, there are chances that they might ask case studies or guesstimates in the interview. So,
Hmm.
did they ask you? I know they have asked some people,
Yeah.
and if you talk to your colleagues or your peers at ISP, what was their experience? Is it commonly being asked?
I mean, so one, there was no question related to case studies or guesstimates for me. Two, I have hardly heard when I interacted with my peers at ISB, if I mean, none of them, at least in my circle of 10 to 15 people, closely that I interacted with, I mean, they were not asked any of these type of questions. Yeah.
Okay. And uh, how many people like were reapplicants in your circle? I mean, I know you not cannot give me a number, but as a ballpark number.
I mean, I think maybe 20 to 30% of the folks were reapplicants. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the structure of your batch like with respect to engineers versus non-engineers, male versus females?
Right. So I think for our batch, I think for the first time, non-engineers were 51% of the batch and engineers were 49%.
No, that is your mistake. That is boys versus girls ratio, male
Oh,
versus
got
female
it. So
for the
then that's
first
the
time.
boys versus girls. Okay.
Yeah,
And then for engineers, non-engineers, I think it was again very close.
60-40.
40, yeah, 45, 55 or 40, 60, yes.
Yeah,
So,
so
but yeah, I mean, it was a very diverse batch in terms of, so ISB does take care of that whenever they are, choosing or selecting people for any of the eliminative stages. So yeah, it's a conscious choice from ISB side, and then you get to see that once you are at ISB, the diverse people that work on a daily basis to submit assignments, to do case competitions, etc. That is helpful.
So, can we say that it is kind of difficult for male engineers to make into ISB? You were one of them.
Of late, I would say yes, it is becoming tougher. Yeah, yes,
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to highlight to the people who are present, that we need to acknowledge that the changes that are happening.
right.
My batch had 30% females. Current batch, which is sitting, has 49% females.
Hmm.
It is becoming easier for females to get into, and if the female non-engineers, though, definitely much easier.
Bonus. Yeah.
So I would request everyone to acknowledge the changes that have been happening at ISP as a batch and accordingly put efforts. Okay. Any parting tips again, Abhishek, before we end this call?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, No, so a couple of things. So, in my interview, I was asked one question. So, one is be thorough with your essays. I had mentioned MasterChef in one of my essays, and my interview started with, like, you have mentioned MasterChef at ISB. How will it help MBA students?
Yeah.
Please throw some light on that, right? So, one is be thorough with your whatever you have written in your essays. Two, whatever you are mentioning, right? Your short-term, long-term goals, have a plan B ready. I was
Yeah.
asked a question that what is your plan B if consulting does not pan out post ISB? Right. So these type of questions may, come as a surprise at that point of time, but with enough preparation after submitting your application, it is not rocket science, so manageable. Right. And yeah, be genuine, honest. It's a very informal, environment during the interview. At least in 95% of the cases, there
Yeah.
are no stress interviews. Majority of the interviews are not stress interviews. And yeah, so the interviews do genuinely want to know about you. It's not that they are, it's a formality. It's actually they want to know about you and your background. So just be genuine, honest. If you don't know, you don't know. But always when you are saying a point, expand it with an example so that it doesn't seem very generic. It doesn't come across as a generic point that this is my strength or this is my weakness. But then you can also expand saying that this is my weakness, but this is how I am improving upon it, or this is an area of improvement, is how I see my weakness. So yeah, just that. Nothing much.
So you just mentioned about MasterChef. You have put it in the essays, and they immediately started the interview with that. So how important is to get the essays right?
Yeah, after that question, I realized, yeah, the importance of essays. But yeah, it is important to craft that story and be on point, be crisp in your essays.
Yeah, because anything that is problematic and you end up writing it in the essays, you might get
Yeah,
a shortlist because of other factors
right,
like your high GMAT score, or maybe
right.
you being a female and non-engineer, your good academics, but it will cost you an admit during the interview because
Absolutely,
maybe they
maybe.
will
Yeah,
discuss that
yeah.
whatever you have written, and if you're not able to convince, then there is a risk involved.
Correct, correct.
Okay, uh, that's it from my side, Abhishek. These were the questions I wanted to ask you, and also glad to be connected after more than 2 years. I think
Yeah,
we did not have any kind of discussion after you got an admit. I think we had a brief discussion for the
uh,
blogs that you for
right,
the blog that you wrote for other people.
right.
Uh, Anyone else in the call wants to ask something? If not, then we will disconnect and we'll enjoy the remaining whatever Sundays left. Okay, great. So there are no questions. Thanks a lot, Abhishek. And please be in touch.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Cheers. Thanks a
Okay.
lot, Anshul. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.